if anybody wants to unmute themselves and introduce themselves, that would be great. I'll start. My name is Tamara. I am covering on behalf of Lauren today. She is traveling, so she asked me to sub in. I am on her team. I work as a marketing associate and the social media manager at Accent as well as Flowform. So yeah, I'll open the floor to anybody who wants to introduce themselves. Even in the chat, that would be great.
Well, I'll go ahead and introduce myself since everyone's so quiet, and it's good to see you, Lorenzo. Hope you're doing well. Heather, I am the membership director here at ISPA, and it's great to be on this call today. I'm excited to hear what Lorenzo has to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Perfect. So I think we can go ahead and get started. I will describe a little bit about what to expect on this call today. So we will have, we'll just discuss meta ads and marketing strategies and how to reach your ideal customers. Lauren did want me to mention that, to have everybody keep an eye out in their email for ISFA emails for registration links for the next meetings. The next meeting will be on September 30th. I would like to take some time to introduce Lorenzo. So Lorenzo Marquez is the founder of Marquette Group. Am I pronouncing that right, Marquette?
Yes.
Marquette Group, which is a marketing agency dedicated to helping stone fabricators grow through strategic data-driven marketing with over 20 years of experience in the surfacing industry, including a decade as vice president of marketing at Cosentino. Lorenzo launched Marquette Group in 2017 to give fabricators the tools they need to scale. His in-house team acts as an outsourced marketing department for over 60 clients, offering everything from branding and SEO to web design and event marketing. A frequent industry speaker and former NKBA chairman, Lorenzo is known for blending deep industry insight with practical marketing strategies that drive real growth. Lorenzo, thank you so much for taking time today for us. I will go ahead and give you the floor.
Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be with you guys. So as Tamara mentioned, today we're going to focus on talking about meta ads and giving you guys some insight tips as to what you can do to make the most out of your investments and how to get the best traffic and the best reach. Aside from that, we're also open to discuss anything else related to marketing that you guys may need to get feedback on or guidance on. As Tamara mentioned, I've been in the surfacing industry for over 20 years now and working independently with Marquette Group for almost, I guess, 8 years now. And so our team is dedicated to working with fabricators on a day in, day out basis. We work 95% of our client base is in the stone surfacing industry, from distributors, manufacturers, and fabricators. So we understand the entire supply chain very well. We know what works, what doesn't work, what could work better. And so anything that you guys may need to have questions on related to how to market your business, by all means, please feel free to ask questions. So just if you guys can hear me, if you can comment back or unmute your microphones. Any of you guys currently doing any type of social media advertisement?
I will go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say Omar was like this close to speaking, but then went silent.
No,
so.
I thought no, definitely. I will certainly share. We do quite a bit of social media, and we boosted, and we do it once a week, and we have it go on for 4 or 5 days, 6 days, and we try to concentrate on the local. Within 30 to 50 miles from the shop.
Now, Omar, are you guys mainly retail, or are you kind of retail and trade?
25% retail. The rest is trade.
Yeah. So what the part that I'm going to go through and kind of review, there's really not a set presentation. We wanted to kind of make it more of a conversation. I do have a best practice sheet that I can email you guys afterwards so that you guys can kind of read those points. But I'm going to focus a little bit more on the strategic side of things, and then Tamara's going to go into the actual practical side of things and kind of share her screen and show us how to do meta ads better. But Tamara with Accent Countertops, I mean, they do a great deal, or Flowform as well. They do a great deal of marketing internally, and they do a great deal of social media as well. So They have a lot of practice and a lot of experience to share with us. Now, the reason why I was asking you, Omar, as far as the trade versus retail, is because most people think that because they are doing trade only or home center business only, that they don't need to spend any kind of effort into marketing their business. And I think that's a huge mistake. A lot of times that we work with fabricators that are 100% trade, and the trade community still needs to validate the decision in working with you, and they need to see examples of your work. They need to see that you're a legitimate business, and you also need to attract new customers. So unless you're saying absolutely no to getting new customers, retail or trade, then you shouldn't focus on marketing your business whatsoever. And marketing is extremely important in today's world. I mean, I'm sure you guys are seeing what's happening with Cracker Barrel and the whole news. It's breaking everywhere, right? So kind of the value of the brand, and the value of the brand is significantly important, and it can either make you or break you. So when you're trying to set up your social media strategy and your overall marketing plan, it's really important to understand who your target audience is and to make sure that you have a very solid value proposition. You know, a lot of times we see fabricators that are very proud of their latest investment, and they want to talk about their new Baca robot, or they want to talk about their new Park saw, or they want to talk about a new piece of equipment they just acquired. And quite frankly, that really doesn't resonate well for the audience, for your customers. So it's really good to make sure that you have a compelling sales message that applies to the audience that you're trying to target. And when you have that message already well defined, and when you have your goals well defined, then you can utilize things like Meta, Facebook, Instagram to essentially convey that message out there and help you get more traffic. Now, Omar mentioned that he's doing boost posts, right? So there's two different types of way by which you can do advertisement on Meta. One is by boosting one of your existing social media posts. Let's say you talk about an installation you just completed. You do a post on that today, and then in 1 week, you go back and boost that post. And that basically just opens it up for people that are, in the market for countertops to be able to also see that ad. The benefit of doing ads with social media is, let me restate that. I think social media ads these days are essential and are something that companies must do, because the whole theory of, I'm going to get followers and likes does not apply anymore. It's going to become a lot harder to get people to like your page, to follow your platform, or to make sure that they, following you on Instagram or whatever. People will look for you when they need you. They're not going to look for you to essentially become your fans. And so when you're putting money into advertisement, you're opening up the door to attract new audiences and to grow your business. Now, there's a couple of different things that you guys can do with social media ads. The number one thing that I recommend is that you come up with a plan and you stick to that plan. Every single social media ad, or even social media post for that matter, should have the appropriate call to action. And that call to action needs to be visit our website to explore our financing options. It needs to be visit our website to look at our color selection, or visit our website to get inspired on what we can do for your kitchen, for your bathroom. You always want to make sure that anything that you're doing, you're driving them back to your website. And for that reason, you have to have a website that is mobile friendly. About 90% of people look at social media on their mobile device. So you want to make sure that you have a website that is mobile friendly. You want to make sure that wherever you're driving people to your website, they find the information that's relatable to the ad or to whatever they saw, right? Otherwise, you have people that just bounce off and they don't necessarily follow through or read through. And then within that landing page, you also want to make sure that you have a good way to capture that lead. So a call to action or a way to capture the lead. If you're promoting financing, make sure there's a form they can fill out. If you're promoting your new white Silestone collection, or whatever colors you're offering now, you want to make sure that you're also capturing that customer and making sure that you're getting your value for the ads. It is very, very important to set a budget and don't panic if your budget goes out very quickly. The way budgets work is you can establish them for the period of time for the campaign, and as soon as your budget is out, your ad no longer will show. However, what you can do is you can use tools that Meta has available to optimize your budget, and also it's called campaign budget optimization. And Facebook allows you to allocate your budget, and then it essentially automatically adjusts as needed. Now, a lot of times people get a little concerned about, what is the right strategy to follow? What message should I put out there? It is totally okay to try different things different weeks. So if, for instance, this week, if you're offering financing on your countertops, you may focus on financing today. And then next week, you may focus on a promotion that you're running, or you may focus on vanity top programs, or you may focus on bathrooms versus kitchens. So it's okay to kind of test out for the first 2 months. Every week, try a different message, and then try to find out which of those messages have the highest number of clicks. And once you find the message or the ad that has the highest readership, that's exactly what you want to stick to, and that's exactly what you want to keep promoting, because that's what your audience is looking for. Tamara, anything so far? Am I doing good so far? Would you hire me?
I absolutely would. I completely agree with you. Yes.
So make sure. I mean, it's really. I want to say it's become easier, but it's also become a little bit more complicated. If it makes any sense, Meta's ad manager platform is extremely complex and complicated. However, once you're set up, it's very easy to work with. So the setup part is the hardest part. Because you have to go set up your ads, you have to set up your audiences, you have to set up your demographics. Omar mentioned that he's doing about 30 miles from his shop. So you want to make sure that you have your demographic based on location, based on preferences, and then the likes of people, right? So when you're setting up your demographic, you can go down as far as people that have interest in remodeling, people that have interest in design magazines is really good as well. Home and garden, you're not going to find kitchen countertops as a category. You're not going to find granite countertops as a category. You're going to find remodeling, you're going to find design, interior design, kitchens, bathrooms, but you're not going to find the product category on its own. So it's okay to kind of throw a lot of stuff at it. And then every week, as you're playing with different ads, try to change your audience a little bit. Sometimes you may want to do an ad for a value granite color, for instance, which I don't recommend because everybody's trying to do that. But you may want to do an ad for value granite color, and you may want to target the builder community. And so, and then another week, you may want to focus on the 20% retail business, and you want to talk about your Taj Mahal slabs that you just received, or the latest installation that you just accomplished. And so it's okay to have different messages, but at the end of the day, make sure that everything that you're promoting stays true to what you are as a business, right? Make sure that everything sticks back to or goes back to your value proposition. If you guys don't have a clearly stated value proposition for your business, I don't care if you spend money on doing ads on Times Square, you're not going to get business. You need to make sure that you have at least 3 conveying points that you're telling your audience of what benefit you bring for them. It's not about you, it's about your audience. So I have 3 things that you do: craftsmanship, quality, budget friendly, safety for employees, machinery, digital templating, digital fabrication. What is it that makes you unique as a fabricator and as a business? And always stick to those 3. I always only do 3. I always stick to those 3. And then whatever message you have, whatever post you have, try to loop it back into your value proposition. Questions so far? Comments?
Lorenzo, I'm curious. You said that you make a post and a week later you go and boost it. Why wait a week?
Just to kind of see if the post is performing well first. And I mean, we always try to go organic as much as possible and then go back and boost it afterwards. Because you want to give it some time to sort of like, I would almost say like marinate. It's not a rule to do it. We just like to always just kind of wait for a week, because your followers and your existing audience will see your post and then they'll see it again once you boost it. So you almost kind of want, a lot of people kind of take posts down and then they repost again. And to me, taking posts down and reposting is kind of silly. So I'd rather just kind of go back and boost later so that they can kind of get the message twice.
Okay.
And then a lot of times too, when you're doing a boost, you're not necessarily doing an ad. So a boost may be your latest installation of a fireplace round at the, Ritz-Carlton in LA, right? So that's your post, and you can boost that to let other people see it. But your ad is specifically having a complete different image, and it's talking about a call to action. Come here for the best product selection. Come here for the best financing options. You're essentially asking them to take action on something. So that's why it's different to set up or to invest in boosting versus setting up an actual ad independently.
How often
I-
do you recommend posting for Granite Shops per week?
We do 3 times a week. We do 3 times a week, and we don't mess around with Twitter or X, however you want to call it. We're not messing around with, and Tamara may disagree, but we're different generations here, but we're not messing around with TikTok because it is extremely creative, complex, and takes a lot of time to do TikTok. And your audience is not going on TikTok to look for countertops. That's the reality. If you want to be trending, then that's a different thing. We're mainly using LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. That's kind of the platforms that we use. And then we're also using, obviously, a lot of Google Business.
Okay.
And there's different platforms that you can utilize. We utilize a platform that's called Loomly. It's LOOMLY.com. And so what you do with that, you're able to essentially load up your post for the month. You can share them with your team. Like for us, we build it for our clients and then send it to our clients for approval. And then from that platform, it automatically publishes in all the different channels and all the different platforms. And so it kind of gives you a lot more flexibility and accountability, and it kind of integrates everybody into the process of what do you call it? Of being able to get the job done.
I completely agree with you, Lorenzo. We use TikTok just to mainly for fun and to increase brand awareness. But yeah, like Lorenzo mentioned, we do not utilize TikTok to capture our target audience. We use it just to have versatility within the brand, and it's usually mainly focused on creating trendy videos just to engage with different audiences on that app. However, we do use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn to really resonate with the audience that we are targeting, that we know where we use those apps where we know those clients that we need and the clients that we see in our showrooms will be on to basically target them and engage with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of finding out what's better for your business. Like for instance, if you are mainly trade, then I would probably focus on posting more on LinkedIn than doing Facebook or Instagram. However, the trade is also going to be on Facebook, more so from a personal standpoint, Instagram for inspiration. So you can also do different types of posts on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn with a different kind of flair, different kind of message, so that you can kind of make the post on LinkedIn sound a little bit more professional. And if you were to invest in doing any kind of post on LinkedIn, obviously you'll be able to get more people to see you as a leading source of information. They're not looking for the quality per se, they're looking for good trade information. So your post on LinkedIn should be more focused on craftsmanship, should be more focused on edge design, should be more focused on your templating, your operational processes, measuring processes. So kind of like give them more insights as to how and why they should be working with you. That's all I got on my side. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I mean, we could talk marketing all day long. So if you guys have anything else you'd like to address marketing related, by all means, throw it at us, and we'll be very happy to share that with you. And the last thing that I forgot, make sure that whenever you're utilizing or you're doing ads, you kind of look for you're not utilizing things that could ban you from Facebook or Meta, right? Anything that you do health related, you cannot do any claims on social media that are health related. Obviously, you already know this, but anything that's political, you want to stay away from. You also want to make sure that you're not utilizing anything that is misleading or anything that is defining a particular group of people, just so that you're not necessarily, getting into any issues.
I agree. And I'm going to, just in a couple minutes, I'm going to share my screen and show how we can create an inclusive ad on Meta to ensure that you are reaching your target audience, and give a little bit more insight on that. But Lorenzo, I'm glad that you mentioned the different channels that we can advertise on and basically focus on different demographics. You have different demographics different audiences that you want to target on LinkedIn as opposed to Meta. Do you have anything you'd like to share about, learning how to utilize similar content and adjust it towards those different apps? For example, like I mentioned, we use Meta as well as LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, I'm using similar posts that I post on Facebook and Instagram, but I target that towards builders and designers. And earlier this year, during the beginning, like the first 3-4 months of 2025, I utilized my posts on LinkedIn to talk about different trends in real estate and different materials that are trending and how that could, basically resonated that with builders and designers. So do you have a little bit more insight on that you could share?
Yeah, so and it's no different than whenever you go to a builder presentation and you talk to a builder with builder terminology, right? You can't go talk to a builder like they're an architect. You need to talk to them like they're a builder. What does a builder care about? Time, delivery, quality, price. That's all they care about. The faster you can get that countertop installed, the faster they can close on that home, the faster they get paid, right? So your messaging, regardless of you utilizing LinkedIn or Facebook or Meta, you should have a very specific value prop for each individual audience that you're working with. The way you sell a countertop to a designer is not going to be the way you sell a countertop to a homeowner. The homeowner first cares about maintenance, color, price point. The designer cares about color, design, times, delivery. The last thing the designer cares about is price point, because they're not paying for it. It's not their money, right? So when you're targeting audiences, look at Facebook and Meta more as a broader audience that you can essentially have one message that applies to all types of audiences. But LinkedIn, like to Tamara's point, you have to kind of diversify it based on the audience and based on the content that you're publishing. If you're publishing, a close-up of an edge, talk about the craftsmanship, talk about how that miter edge is perfect and why you made it perfect, and how builders can upgrade their game to offer their customers options like having a drop-down countertop, right? So kind of like try to personalize it as much as possible.
Can you talk to us about websites a little bit? What are the key components that you look for in a website?
Sure. That's a really good question, and that's kind of our bread and butter here. Essentially, a website. The first thing that I recommend is that you're mobile friendly, right? And so when you open up your website, when you open up your business page on your phone, you need to be able to see everything that's on the phone. And the design for your website needs to be mobile friendly first before you do anything else. That way, you ensure that you have the right tool for your audience to utilize and have. The second thing is it needs to be fast load. It cannot delay loading time because people do not have the attention span that they used to these days. Right? I think Twitter changed that a lot. You know, we're all navigating through different apps at all times, and so you stick to the ones that load faster. And so a lot of times, if people are looking at your website on desktop or on mobile, and if it's too slow to load, then they're going to go somewhere else. Third thing is you have to immediately hit people with what they're looking for, or else you're going to lose them, right? So a lot of times you start off with, you know, a big image or a video, and by the time it loads, by the time it goes, it takes time and effort. You know, the first thing is they need to be able to see what you do and why they're visiting your page. Hit me with the 3 value proposition points straight off the bat. And then with that, you kind of start creating navigational stories, right? So you start off maybe with, if you do financing, you start off with a message related to financing, and then don't give them all the information right off the bat. Make sure that they navigate and they kind of search for that information. So once you have a website that is mobile friendly, that has good navigation, that has content that's relatable, you organically start placing higher on Google searches because Google wants to drive people to the right source of information. That's their business model, right? And so they're not going to drive people to a website that is not mobile friendly, that takes a long time to load, and that does not have the right type of information. So, you know, just to kind of reiterate what I said is mobile friendly, make sure that you have good navigation and fast loading, and then content is key. A lot of people say that or think that a website should just be built and left alone and it's going to just slowly navigate itself up in the rankings. It doesn't work like that. You know, you're competing with algorithms that change every other month. You're competing with people that are coming in with newer websites. And so it's important to kind of always stay on top of always adding new content, photos, galleries, blogs, news. One of the things that has worked very well for some of our clients is the people connection. So, you know, having photos of your staff, your management team on the website, really make the business relatable to people. That's been very effective for us.
I'd also like to add on, it's not necessary to throw out the same information throughout your website on each page. As long as you get to the point and it's concise, you are fine. You don't want anything repetitive. I feel like that also affects the algorithm. And like Lorenzo mentioned, it's important to remain updated. With our website, we like to all continuously add different projects or materials. We're always acquiring new materials, and that is something that we want to highlight. We don't want to just highlight the basic colors or the basic quartz and granite that we offer. We want to ensure that we are constantly on trends. We have different materials for with quite a variety of pricing to make sure that we are offering as much as we can for our audience and making on letting them know that we have everything for them. It's also important to continuously, like Lorenzo mentioned, with blog posts and photos, you want to make sure that you're updated because sometimes with blog posts, you can see when the material was released. So you don't want to have an outdated website at all. And something that I like to do personally, I like to look at our competitors and see what they're doing on their websites because some of them have great fast loading designs and just really cool interactive tools that they have on their website that would be perfect for us and our audience. So don't be afraid to do your research. Don't be afraid to look at your competitors. Always ensure that you are at the forefront of new and improving designs and software for your website.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I think that, you know, we tend to work on WordPress for all of our websites, and that's just because they're a lot easier to maintain, and it doesn't take us as much code or maintenance to keep it running. So make sure that you also have a content management system that allows you to make quick edits to the website. You know, in the past, if you guys ever did traditional advertisement, you would have to submit your ad 30 days before it went published. And so, you know, you'd have to kind of plan things out, and it would take a long time for it to go live, either on a billboard or newspaper, magazine, whatever. Now your website gives you the ability to promote things on the cuff. If you decide that you received, you know, 2 containers worth of Uva and you have to move it quick, then you know you can always do a promotion starting tomorrow and start moving that material. So it gives you that flexibility.
I also would like to add to my last point, our company is really retail focused. So we also have on our website Google reviews or testimonials from clients, and we also have a link to our Google business page, and that'll offer them more reviews and more information about our website. So and we have links towards all of our social media accounts, so clients can see our social media presence, and I think it's good to diversify yourself online. And yeah, just making sure that all of your accounts are up to date, all of your links are up to date and are active. That's very important.
All right, Tamara, if you want to take us through the ad.
Yes, I would be happy to. Let me take a look here.
I'm gonna while Tamara's doing that, I'm gonna put my email on the chat box in case any of you guys want to get the best practices sheet, as well as have any other questions related to marketing, any guidance you guys may need. We certainly can have a follow-up conversation.
I'm requesting to share my screen, and it says the host isn't allowing sharing for this meeting. Heather, is there something you can do about that?
I'm looking now. Let me see.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, does anybody else have any other questions or comments about what we discussed about marketing strategies?
I'm curious,
Can you
how
try to-
effective is it to
Try
do
now.
like a throwback Thursday and Workforce Wednesday? You find a lot of companies kind of they theme their social media based on the day. Is that an effective strategy? Is there any feedback on that?
I mean, you can't go wrong with it. I just think that it's a little bit, personally, I think it's a little bit cheesy and a little bit dated just because everybody has done it. And it's, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's like, I think there's a lot better things that you can do to be funny and engaging and kind of creative with it, but not necessarily stick to, like, listen, when we started Marquette, it was National Donut Day, and we would bring a box of donuts and put it on countertops and do posts for all of our clients on Donut Day, right? It's not the most effective or the best possible thing that you could do, but it certainly, you know, could be beneficial.
Yeah. Thank you.
Before I share my screen, I do want to add on to that. If you are going to do a post like that, you could make it relevant towards what you have available. For example, we sometimes create dog bowls or pet bowls for water and food with our remnants. And so for like National Pet Day or National Dog or Cat Day, we can create a post like that and make it relevant towards our business. So as long as you're staying on trend and remaining relevant to what you offer, I don't think it's a terrible idea. Let me see if I can share my screen now. Okay. Okay, can you guys see my screen? It should be a Facebook on Facebook Manager.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So I will make this larger, but we just have some sensitive information on the side that I do not want you to share. But you're gonna go into your Meta Ads Manager, and you can find that on the Facebook page. Let me just put that here. So if you want to create an ad, you'll click create, and I'm just going to make a similar ad to what we have running currently. And we always utilize lead form ads on Meta if we want to, if we have an objective of increasing awareness or traffic, we usually do that while boosting posts on Instagram, which I can show you guys as well. But what I will do is I will create a lead. Confirm. It's just taking a second to load. Okay. Perfect. So for the campaign name, we'll do signature series. So at Accent, we have our signature series program, which is where we offer quartz and granite priced by the square foot. And you have different groups, I think from levels groups 1 to 6. And then we have a premium group for those who are wanting something a little bit more luxurious, but it is priced at it does have a higher price point. For our daily budget, we usually do $25 to $30 because we do target our audiences that are in our area, so we don't need a huge budget where we are targeting across the country or even across the world. And then you can do A/B testing or categories. Categories right here is only applicable if these options are relevant towards your campaign. So for example, for the financial products and services, we did recently advertise our our financing program. And so we had to click this or else Meta would have banned us from advertising. So that would have violated community guidelines if we were advertising that our payment plan and we didn't click this button. So it would just go like that. For housing, employment, social issues, which I don't think are completely relevant to the countertop world. So the ad set, I'm gonna rename that. What we do, I usually do signature series. We'll just do signature series for now. Conversion location, so instant forms, and I'll show you the lead form at the end of at this column right here, which will be the next page. So because we do want to have people submit the lead forms, which will have a very set of questions that we want them to fill out before we contact them. And then make sure that if you do have multiple pages, for different locations or for different subsidiaries that your company might have, you want to ensure that it's the correct Facebook page. So this one, I am targeting Utah, so we are on the correct page. And then we can go down to creative. You can have your ad running for as long as you want, and you can just turn it off manually, or you can set an end date. So if we want to have this ad running, we can do it for a week. Today's Tuesday, so September 2nd, and it'll end. I usually leave it for midnight on Pacific timing. And then for audiences, we have done a lot of advertising through Meta. And after conducting thorough research, we understand the type of audience that is quite popular in our area. So for example, we will target families. Typically, we target women between ages of 33 and 45 or even 50, depending on the ad that we are wanting to advertise. The reason for this is that after examining the results of our previous ads, we've seen that is our most popular demographic, and we have seen a lot of success from targeting that demographic. What we will do is search locations. I will do Salt Lake City. And you'd always want to target locations relevant to you. So advertising towards the whole country or even the entire state. No, actually, the entire state would be relevant because we do offer services for the entire state of Utah. But if we were in California and we only targeted, LA County, it would not be relevant to target the entire state of California. So what I do is I'll do Salt Lake and then surrounding areas, surrounding popular cities, we'll do Provo. Provo. And we learned through continuous advertising that we don't like these locations to overlap, which is why I'm decreasing the radius. So for example, overlap will look like that. And for our company, that has not worked for us in the past. So we like to keep these areas separate. Make sure they're not overlapping with each other. Another popular area, forward, we can do Logan, which is about 2 hours away. Perfect. We can do, and we'll do Price Utah. So these areas from results of our campaigns in the past are extremely popular with our customers. What else do we have here? So we'll do those locations for now, but of course, oh, just kidding. St. George as well. We'll do St. George since that is a very popular area of ours as well. St. George, Utah. For St. George, I do like to expand it a bit. And keep that area covered since we do service those areas. And right here, you will have a few controls. What I like to do is click show suggestions because that'll give you a little bit more control over the age and the demographic and the interests of your audience. So for example, I mentioned that we do target families and typically the women of the household. So we'll do minimum age of 31. And we'll do 55. And then we'll do women, but typically we do all, but we'll do women just for the sake of this demonstration. And then like Lorenzo mentioned, it's important to add relevant interests of your demographics. What we've learned in the past is honing down the interests towards interior design and renovation is beneficial, but your target audience does have personal interests that would be relevant. So from conducting a few different surveys and surveys with previous customers, we learned a little bit more about them. And we learned that the demographics in this area, specifically Salt Lake, Provo area, they are interested in tourism, travel, outdoor sports. And we have learned through our advertising that that is beneficial when creating different campaigns. So tourism, adventure, and then of course, home renovation, home improvement, outdoor. Oh, what just happened? You do that. And then we'll just do outdoor sports, outdoor activities. Okay, perfect. So that would be your audience, and then you can click the next page. Oh, and then another thing that Lorenzo mentioned is the complexity of this platform. You do get used to it over time. One thing I do like to mention is, where is that little? There was an AI, I think it's back here. Maybe it'll show up right here. This little space right here, advantage. It is good to incorporate. This is an integration of AI into Meta. I'll discuss that a little bit more right now, but we do, okay, so this is how you set up your creative. I go up here, signature series, creative. Again, we do have our Instagram account linked to the Facebook page. So this ad will show up on Facebook as well as Instagram. You'll scroll down and then you can set up creative. We'll do image ad. You can do both image and video. In the past, image ads have worked best for us. Okay, perfect. So I'll do signature series. And I make different sizes relevant to posts and stories. So you can do that through a different platform such as Canva. And we have used Canva, or I think we have discussed Canva in the past at these meetings, but if you guys need a little bit more explanation, I'd be happy to go there. So primary text, you'll just have a text, headline, and description. Call to action, our signature series, we do want to give them a quote. And what we'll do here is primary text. So in the past, for primary text for signature series, we can say, I'm just gonna write something here, Quartz and Granite starting at 54.99. I think
Hey,
that's what it
Tamara.
says on the ad. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I have to jump off the call.
Okay.
But thank you guys very much. I look forward to hearing from you, and then let me know if there's anything else that we can do for you. And Heather, Tamara, thanks for having me on the call, and look forward to the next one.
Of course, thank you so much for your
Thank you,
presentation
guys.
today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Heather, I'm almost done, I promise. So Quartz and Granite starting at $54.99, and then I'll say click get quote to have a representative reach out to you today. So typically, I won't keep the primary text this short. It's important to describe what the signature series is, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to skip that. And for headline, I'll say click get quote now, or click get quote today. And then for the description, I just make it relevant towards the ad itself. Oh, let me go back for a second. This is AI, and it is beneficial for your ad to use AI because it'll give variations of your ad, and sometimes it just, makes it a little bit better, and it'll different audiences require different types of engagement. So for example, this is remodeling, and it will incorporate the interests and demographics that you included. So for example, budget conscious homeowners, they would want to know more about square footage pricing, or first time remodelers, home renovation enthusiasts. So that's very important to consider. Image generation, we typically skip, and enhancements. This is again AI advancements. We usually just press done and allow it to do its thing. We've just press done. Okay, media. So this was the correct sizing for Facebook and Instagram feed. And then you have your stories. So you want to edit that. And then you want to get the correct sizing. See how that's just a little bit awkward. You want to get the correct sizing, which is 1080 by 1920. Save there, that's better. And then you have those little borders those are just some things you want to consider when creating that size. Make sure that all your text does not overlap with those borders. And then this one will also be 1080 by 1080 right there. And then it'll give you a nice little preview. Here on the side, you will see your preview for Facebook and Instagram, Facebook feed, banner overlay. It'll do the AI integration will also translate to Spanish. We have a huge Spanish speaking demographic that we also like to target. And then you can click here, see how it'll look on stories. See how sizing matters. So if I had this little $54.99 banner down here, it would have been blocked by that button right there. And then you can go here, you have your primary text, your headline, your description, and your call to action is very important. So you don't want to have download or apply now. And then the destination will take us to our lead form. I don't think I have enough time to show you how to set up a lead form, but I'm almost done, I promise. So this is what our lead form looks like. You don't want to ask too personal of questions. You just want to have, what is the countertop project you are working on? And then Facebook has this form right here that it likes to integrate. So you don't want to have that right here because it is a violation of community guidelines. So they'll have their contact information, last name, phone number, and email. Facebook does have the option to make these things personal or optional, which will be a button right next to this when setting up the lead form. You don't want to have that. You want to have them verify their phone numbers and emails to avoid spam. And then here, they'll receive a code on their phone to ensure that they are not spam. And then just reviewing that, and then they'll submit it. And then we have the option to view website at the end. So it'll take them to our website, which is the link. The link will directly take them to our signature series page, and it'll have a little bit more information. But on our end, we'll have the information that they input, and our salespeople will reach out to them within 24 hours. And yeah, and then you click publish, and then your ad is good to go. I'll stop sharing real quick. Any questions about that, about setting up a campaign on Meta? No questions? Okay, perfect. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the meeting today?
Just thank you for taking the time to share with us today. We appreciate it. I know I learned a lot, so I think everyone else did as well. So, and we appreciate Lorenzo
Great.
as well. So,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thank you both.
Yeah, absolutely. A recap will follow via email for ISFA members exclusively. It will be available on their platform for access. I believe the next call is Get Found Online. So that would focus on SEO and Google Ad Essentials with Stefan Alberts, which will take place same time, 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern on September 30th. And everyone will receive an email to sign up.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for having me today.